don't know what's gotten into Caitlin Clark. You are leaning into this bad guy role. I love it. I don't know what's gotten into you, Caitlin Clark, but you've been on some I don't give a F lately. I love it. Oh my God, I cannot believe she just eviscerated and embarrassed Cheryl Reeve on national TV like that. They said, hey, would you like to make a player trade? It's better yet, I'll do you one better. Get this fucking coach up out of here. Hey, Caitlin Clark ain't.
Caitlin Clark was supposed to be coached by Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve. Napheesa Collier was supposed to be coached by New York Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello. They swapped coaches. Cheryl Reeve, dodged the bullet. Thank God I don't need to coach Caitlin Clark, man. Man, I can't deal with that. I would have had to swallow so much pride, I can't do that. Fee, she probably called him the Fee, talk to Caitlin, please. I can't coach her, I can't do it. This book's about to come out. You know what they're gonna be saying if I'm coaching Caitlin Clark and the book's out? Oh, God. Fee, please, Fee.
Looks like Napheesa Collier is in serious hot water after lying on Caitlin Clark on national. A word on the street is that Caitlin Clark, did not want Cheryl Reeve as her coach. At least that's what we all suspected. That's what we all thought. And that, my friends, was the narrative moving forward. Well, I'm here to tell you, Napheesa Collier just told on herself. I mean, she exposed herself as a liar, bro. I mean, she just let the cat out the bag. Well, me and Caitlin actually talked about this before the ESPN special, and I text Caitlin Clark and told her I want my coach, which means to tell me that Cheryl Reeve probably did not want to coach Caitlin. Yeah.
Bruh, tell me y'all just saw Caitlin Clark destroy Cheryl Reeves on national TV. I know y'all saw free smoke, ayy, free smoke, ayy, free smoke, ayy, free smoke, ayy, free smoke. Bruh, Caitlin Clark want all the smoke. Bruh. Bruh, she just annihilated Cheryl Reeve on national television. I didn't see that coming. They asked Caitlin Clark, hey, Caitlin, are there any player trades you like to make? Nah, I'm kind of set with my team, but I would like to trade coaches.
Yes, I texted Caitlin before to ask if we could trade.
So, boom, right there. She said, I texted Caitlin before and asked her if we could trade. Now, why would she ask Caitlin Clark if she could trade coaches? Now, I can understand that being her coach, but still, we didn't even know if that was a rule. So basically, y'all passed the buck on Caitlin because y'all knew if Caitlin would say it, the league wouldn't say nothing because she could.
So to God, Caitlin Clark, or what I like to refer to her now as Gangster Clark, her Cheryl crusted blueberry muffin ass Reeve being salty in that press conference, throwing shade at the Fever and said, nope, get her punk ass up out of here. She ain't about to coach my team for the All-Star game, and that's why I call her Gangster Clark, because whatever Gangster Clark wants, Gangster Clark.
Delete that tweet, but I feel like Caitlin might have been keeping receipts and she saw that. Also, it is good to note that Cheryl Reeve was the head coach of Team USA last year, and of course, they did not select Caitlin Clark. They did not bring her to the Olympics. And so with all of that, Caitlin said, you know what? Why don't we trade coaches, Fee? You can have your own coach and I'll take Sandy. And Fee was okay with that. It seemed like something they agreed upon before the draft, but that was a little juicy moment.
So let's forget the fairy tale that Napheesa Collier is trying to spin. This trade was a power shift, orchestrated by Caitlin Clark as a direct response to months of disrespect. Collier's story is just PR damage control. The truth is, Caitlin Clark is the new center of the WNBA universe, and the old guard can either get on board or get out of the way. This was a masterclass in how to wield star power when you've earned every single ounce of it. Welcome to the Caitlin Clark era, where she doesn't just play the game, she makes the rules.
That Cheryl Reeves will be the coach for Caitlin Clark's All-Star team. Not feeling this at all. This is the same woman who despised her last year, saying, I don't give two shits about Caitlin Clark. The same woman who really didn't want her on the Olympic team. She was hell-bent about it. Very open about it. Same woman who wore Black Girls Rock while playing Caitlin Clark, insinuating that Caitlin Clark is a racist, so she's gonna be, pandering to the audience. Like, I hate that.
Now, let's get to the unspoken truth that makes Collier's story fall apart completely. Cheryl Reeve was likely terrified of coaching Caitlin Clark. Imagine the awkwardness. You have to coach the player you publicly snubbed and criticized in her home arena with the whole world watching. A new tell-all book about Clark's rookie season was about to drop. It would have been a public relations nightmare for Reeve. So when Collier says she texted Clark, it's more likely the conversation was initiated by Reeve's camp, begging for a way out of an impossible situation. Collier wasn't being a diplomat. She was saving her own coach from a week of brutal media scrutiny.
Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, they traded their coaches. They didn't trade any players in the draft. They traded their coaches, and a lot of people think they know why. So last year, Coach Cheryl Reeve had a few things to say about Caitlin Clark on Twitter. This was one of the exchanges. Cheryl Reeve tweeted about a preseason game and how the Lynx weren't going to be playing, and that the Lynx game, wasn't going to be televised. And so somebody commented, they said, "Is there a reason why it's not being shown?" And someone else commented, and they said, "Because they only care about Caitlin." And Cheryl Reeve tweeted, and she said that part. A lot of people felt like this was very unprofessional for a coach to be engaging in the fan commentary and especially calling out one single player that has nothing to do.
And this wasn't just about getting rid of a hater, it was a strategic upgrade. Clark didn't just dump Reeve, she traded for Sandy Brondello, the championship-winning coach of the New York Liberty. While Reeve was busy subtweeting, Brondello was busy winning titles. Clark swapped a coach who resented her for a coach who respects winners. It was a move that showed she's not just thinking about personal feelings. She's thinking about surrounding herself with excellence.
Caitlin Clark was kind of used in this situation, that they initiated this to possibly get Cheryl Reeve away from Caitlin. Because we know Cheryl Reeve really don't like Caitlin, bro. She don't like her at all. Not even a little bit. And so they knew that if Caitlin was the one to say, you know what, let's trade coaches, they wouldn't say nothing.
This is why Gangster Clark had to make a move. This wasn't a collaboration. This was Clark grabbing the WNBA by the collar and saying, "I'm done with your politics." She earned her position as team captain with a record-breaking number of fan votes. She knew the All-Star game was in her home arena. She had all the leverage and she used it. Her statement during the live draft said it all. "I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rules. We just made it a rule." That's not someone asking for permission. That is someone who knows the entire league revolves around her, and she is dictating the terms.
I'm not sure. So that was what transpired in the midst of the game. Caitlin Clark, to her credit, shakes it off every single time, and she hit a big three and was screaming, "You like that?" at JC Sheldon, who she's had the back and forth with for the longest time, of course. Infamously putting Sheldon on the Summer Jam screen. Sorry, I blew my line. Infamously putting JC Sheldon on the Summer Jam screen, for those of you who get the reference, with this photo back then, and subsequently, in this game as well. And again,
To understand the real motive, you have to look at the mountain of disrespect Cheryl Reeve has shown Caitlin Clark for the past year. Let's start with the Olympic snub. As the head coach of Team USA, Reeve was at the center of the decision to leave the most electrifying player on the planet off the roster. When a reporter asked if she had any second thoughts, her response was a cold, dismissive no. Not a thoughtful explanation, just a verbal swatting away of the issue. But it didn't stop there. Before Clark even stepped on a professional court, Reeve was on social media, liking and replying to comments that were critical of the attention Clark was receiving, even co-signing a fan who said the league only cares about Caitlin with a smug that part. This wasn't leadership. It was petty jealousy from the old guard.
How do you rate Napheesa's drafting skills for her NBA drafting? And for you, Fee, did you know that Cheryl was going to get traded beforehand, before you and Clark did that, or was that just on the spot when that happened? So first for you, Napheesa.
Oh, I think Fee knows what she wants, so her draft picks were all great. I'm happy that she, got Courtney, she got Cheryl, so the whole Minnesota Lynx finna be there. So I'm happy about that. So she's a great drafter.
Yeah. Watch out. I might be a GM one day. No, I would hate that job. Yes, I texted Caitlin before to ask if we could trade for Cheryl. So, yes, it was pre-planned.
Coaches. Originally, Cheryl Reeve was supposed to be coaching Team Clark, and Sandy Brondello was going to be coaching Napheesa's team. But Caitlin said, nah, let's switch. Fee, you can have your coach. But there might be something deeper. Wonder if Caitlin has been keeping receipts of some of the things that Coach Cheryl Reeve had to say about her, including this little Twitter exchange that happened last year. They were tweeting about the preseason game and that the Lynx weren't being televised. Somebody said, is there a reason why it's not being shown? Another user said, because they only care about Caitlin, and Cheryl Reeve responded that part. Since fans have been calling her out about this last year and also this.
Let's break down the lie. In a post-draft interview, Collier claimed, I texted Caitlin before to ask if we could trade for Cheryl. On the surface, it sounds plausible, but think about it. Why would Collier need to ask Clark? And why would they pre-plan something that, by their own admission, they didn't even know was allowed? The story is flimsy because it's a cover. It's a convenient narrative designed to do one thing: save Cheryl Reeve from the public humiliation of being openly rejected by the biggest star in her sport. The reality is, Cheryl Reeve likely wanted nothing to do with coaching Clark, and Collier was doing her own coach a favor.
Clark, this is such a boss move. Say to hell with these people, man, because we are tired of all these salty-ass women in the WNBA, man. What a boss move, Caitlin. You see, Cheryl crusted blueberry muffin. Now you could go coach Napheesa's team, since you want to be a salty ass clown and take the fun out of the All-Star game, Goofy. Because Clark is the face of the league, and whatever she says goes, Goofies. No matter how much y'all want to be emotional or hate on her, you punk ass clowns. Because guess what? Whatever Gangster Clark and Captain Clark says goes.
Hold up. Before we get swept away by another carefully crafted narrative, let's pump the brakes. Napheesa Collier wants you to believe she was the puppet master behind the most seismic coaching swap in WNBA history. She's out here claiming she texted Caitlin Clark to orchestrate the trade for Cheryl Reeve like she's some kind of basketball diplomat. But let me tell you something. That's not just revisionist history. That's straight-up basketball fiction with a capital F. Collier is trying to sell you a fairy tale to cover up the cold, hard truth. This was a calculated power move by Caitlin Clark to settle a score, and everyone else just got caught in the crossfire.